Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the second race of the night here for the World Touring Car Championship here in Motive. Round 2 here at Brno, race 5 of this season. We're in the qualifying session, coming towards the end of the qualifying session. We've got John Boy on provisional pole on a 2:06 dead there. Absolute cracker on up there from John Boy. Obviously on his light fuel load as well, definitely helping him compared to the front runners. You've got Mike, who's just coming through the middle part of the lap, currently a second drift. Jay in the pits, he's not going to improve. Neither is Cobb, who's also in the pits. Charlie Goff is done for the session, he's finished. Ozzy Albi's coming through into the final sector. Craig coming through the middle sector. You've got Thomas also out there in the middle sector. Nick not too far behind Thomas on the track as well. Pop the Brown is done for the session. He's not going to improve here at the end of this one. What about Ozzy Albi? I think he's going to be... No, Mike's going to be the next one over the line. So Mike here coming into the final couple of corners here as he slides the rear end in there, pushing it to the absolute limit, trying to counter steer it, hold on to it as much as he can. Here comes Mike out of the final corner. What is it going to be for him? He needs to find a second. How much closer can he get to John Boy? Here he comes over the line. Doesn't improve, stays on a 2:07.1 there. Ozzy Albi comes over in the background, stays P6, can't improve. Craig's got a few corners to go. Thomas is coming out in the final corner. What can he do? Currently P8 in this session as he comes over the line now, and he moves up into P5. So Thomas found a fair bit of time at the end there, but Craig pushes him down. So Craig goes P5 at the end. What about Nick? What did Nick Lavilla do? He was coming over the line in the background. He was P10 and he moved up to P9, so he found a couple of tenths there right at the end of the session. But it's John Boy who takes pole ahead of Mike in second and Jay third. Obviously the only qualifying session of the night here, the middle race, and the grid then. So here we go, the only standing start of the whole evening. The other two races are both formation laps. The first race is a reverse grid based on the championship standings, and the third race is a reverse grid based on the results from this race. But this one is the only one where the grid is formed on pure merit alone. So the drivers just making their final adjustments and preparations before we officially get going here for this second race of the night. It's got to be nearly time to get going here. Hopefully everybody's going to ready up in time. Here we are then, syncing up, everybody's readied up, that's good to see. Lights are going to come on any second now. Here we go then. We're about to get racing here for the second race of the night here for the Touring Car Championship at Brno. It's lights out and away we go. And Mike there gets a flyer off the line in that BMW, minimising that wheel spin, and he absolutely took off there at the start. John Boy tucking into the slipstream here. You got Thomas there in third ahead of Cobb, who's on the inside there of Jay. Jay has got Charlie going around his outside there. Charlie goes a little bit wide there, bit of contact between them, which is going to allow Craig down the inside up into P6. But Mike leads the race ahead of John Boy after getting the jump off of the line. As you can generally predict in the BMW, it will get a much better start than the Megans. But the Megans are much better at warming their tyres up. So although the BMW gets a fast start, the Megane is the quicker car in the first phase of the race. And John Boy now trying to use that to his advantage as he tries to go around the outside of Mike. Mike trying to hold himself there on the outside, but John Boy's going to get that one done. And John Boy retaking the lead. So these two have swapped places twice already at the start of this race. Mike though getting the cut back down the hill they go. In the background there, you've got Charlie Goff getting all sorts of out of shape there, riding over the grass. But Mike here making a move back on John Boy down the inside. John Boy trying to hold himself around the outside, but Mike's going to complete that move. John Boy there's not going to be able to get himself alongside for this next section, is he? Surely not. He is, somehow he's still there. Wow, incredible racing here from John Boy. Mike and John Boy are absolutely toe to toe here, and John Boy is squeezed back into the lead again, but Mike is still there, is not giving up on this one. He's still keeping it around the outside. This is unbelievable racing here between these two. John Boy there is going to get a better exit out of this corner because he's going to have that wider run but Mike there is still ahead and still close between them. There's a rub doors a bit and almost Mike there losing the car. John Boy to the outside, slightly ahead coming into this right-hander, and what a fight this is, what a clean fair battle this is. Mike there back down the inside up into the lead. John Boy can't fight it any longer, and Mike there takes the lead once again as Thomas has lost out to Cobb. Cobb's up into third place here. Jay in 5th ahead of Craig, followed by Nick DeVillo in 7th place ahead of Ozzy Albi. Park Hooper there in 9th ahead of Potter Brown, with Charlie Goff ahead of Doris Steer. Doris Steer's had a nightmare of a first lap, so has Team MW. Those two who crashed into each other in the first race have had a similar start to this second race, but Mike and John Boy still running close here as they come into the penultimate corner. What a fight that was. That was about 8 or 9 corners in a row. Those two were literally tied at the hip as they come out of the final corner here to finish that one of the race, and Mike here defending for all he's got as they come over the line to complete that one. John Boy getting closer in the slipstream here, but the BMW's got a better straight line speed than that McCann, and it's keeping him in good stead here. But he's looking down the inside. John Boy with a late lunge. Surely he's going to go deep into the corner. No, what a move there from John Boy. He's made it stick. That's incredible. But saying that though, Mike is going to have that slipstream coming down towards turn 3 and might be able to return the favour. John Boy's got to park his car on the inside and hope that Mike can't get far enough alongside to make the move into turn 3. Mike though is going to try all the way around the outside. John Boy though is going to cover that one off. He's going to say, Mike, you're going to have to get up early in the morning if you want to get that one done. You're never going to get around me in a million years doing that. And John Boy is holding on to this lead by the skin of his teeth. So John Boy has taken that lead off of Mike once again. With that late dive bomb going into turn 1, he now has P1 in this race. Cobb there ahead of Jay with Thomas down to P5. Craig has got near the middle over the back of him in that battle for P6. But the news there is that Jay's got ahead of Thomas into 4th place, and Mike's still attacking on the back of John Boy here, as these two once again giving us a hell of a fight here on the Motive Racing YouTube channel. These two have gone toe to toe in the Clios. The GT4s on Tuesday night for the second round of the season at the Osher Slave, and these two were neck and neck. And once again in the Touring Car Championship here at Brno, we're seeing them pretty much separated by nothing at this stage. Cobb there in 3rd ahead of Jay, followed by Thomas, who completes the top 5. Craig trying to attack on the back of Thomas, with Nick, Ozzy and Park Hooper completing the lead pack of cars. Bit of a gap back to Potter Brown, who's got Charlie on the back of him. Charlie, obviously we saw him making a bit of a hash of turn 4 on lap 1, which dropped him back a few places. Doris Steer running in 12th, and Tim W currently P13 in this race at the moment, as John Boy and Mike come up the hill here, and they're coming towards the end of lap 2. What a fight we've seen from these two so far, and they are not done yet, that's for sure. But John Boy's starting to settle into a groove. Saying that though, the BMW's tyres will be getting a bit warmer now for Mike, so he'll be able to take more risks. But the thing for John Boy that he's got in his locker at the moment is that he's got so much less fuel in his car. He's got way less ballast in his car, which is going to be helping him manoeuvre his car much easier. He's going to be so much better, not just with the entries to the corners, but also with the exits as well. The one thing that does set you back, and it's a very small setback compared to the weight issue, is that you're less likely to get a tank snapper when you've got a full tank of fuel, obviously. So generally you find that the car's more balanced, which is one thing that can play in your favour with having a heavy tank. But that is really a very, very small silver lining, because obviously the weight that you carry really does slow you down. As Craig there looking to the inside of Thomas, and he's going to make that move surely into P5. Yes, he does. Craig there moves up a position. Nick there in the background waiting in the wings, hoping to try and get involved in this one, but Thomas has dropped 3 places since the opening lap, where he made a flyer off of the line, as we see so often in the BMW. But Craig there up into P5, makes that one stick there. Back to the leaders though. John Boy and Mike still pretty much neck and neck at this point. Riding on board with one of our three-time champions of the touring cars, and in front of him is another 3-time champion of the touring car division here at Motive. Is this season going to be another repeat of what we've seen in previous seasons? Is it going to be a 2-man fight for the title, or are we going to be seeing the likes of Cobb and Jay getting involved this time around. Obviously, Jay is a former champion of the touring cars. He's won this championship once, back in season 10 on Project Cars 2, season 8 for the touring cars. And we can see here, Mike in the slipstream now. He's going to look to the inside. Is he on John Boy? No, not even tempted to think about it. So he's waiting at the moment, is Mike. He's not in a hurry to get on with this. Just wants to keep John Boy under pressure. Doesn't matter if you lead at the end of lap 3. Ultimately, leading at the end of lap 10 is where you want to be in the lead. As Charlie, they're looking down the inside of Potter Brown. There's a bit of a door banging there between them. Potter Brown trying to keep it around the outside. Charlie can't make that one stick at the moment. So side by side here coming down towards turn 3. Potter Brown there on the inside. Charlie trying to go around the outside here. It's going to be tight. Potter Brown there is just going to run Charlie out of road. Charlie not happy, flashing his lights. Bit of contact there as he tags the rear bumper there. Potter Brown. Potter Brown wide onto the curb, but holds onto that one for now. John Boy and Mike still tussling away at this point, but Mike's got a good exit there. Look to the outside once again. John Boy just pushing him a little bit of a tap between them. John Boy just running at himself a little bit wide there to say, no, don't think about it, Mike. Not happening, sunshine. Mike's going to have to rethink that one a little bit here. But a fantastic battle out the front between these two. They have been putting on a stellar showing here in terms of exemplary defensive or driving from John Boy, and a real attacking driving style from Mike, which has paid off a couple of times. Obviously making the move, but John Boy's managed to get him back each time. As we see Park Hooper there a little bit deep, and Nick there getting the cut back, moving himself back up into 7th place there. Brief exchange there between them. Park Hooper now down the inside for the S's. And makes the move there beautifully there. Just Park Hoover up into 7th place. Interesting little fight between these two, which Aussie Albie's now trying to get involved with in the background as well. As these guys come up the hill towards the final couple of corners once again. John Boy has had a tad to take a tight line through the final corner, which might give Mike an opportunity here to make the move for the lead. Surely this is going to be P1 for Mike, because that straight line speed of the BMW superior to the Megane. He looks to the inside here into turn 1. Is he going to go for this move? Surely he is. Mike here down the inside. John Boy trying to hold it around the outside, but gets sideways, and he's going to have to tuck in here as John Boy. Mike takes the lead here at the beginning of lap 5. John Boy with a little bit of a mistake as he was trying to give Mike a wide berth there going into turn 1. Ended up giving him too wide of a berth and going very deep into the corner. So Mike leads the race here as Thomas now looking to try and come back at Craig into turn 3, but too far back at the moment. I love Brno for its camera angles. It's a really, really good track to commentate on. The cost is actually very neat on this track. As John Boy looking to the inside of Mike there into that corner, but couldn't make it happen. The only problem is I don't know any of the corner names, so I just have to, whenever I'm referencing a corner, I just have to give a brief description of the corner rather than actually say the name of it. It can cause quite a bit of a delay in some of my output of words, but yeah, nonetheless we see Nick all over the back of Park Hooper with Aussie in as well, in a bit of a train here. John Boy still attacking the back of Mike here as they're coming through towards the final sector of this track. John Boy here looking to the inside, trying to put Mike under pressure again, but Mike having absolutely none of it. Obviously the roles reversed now. It was John Boy who was leading for a few laps before. Now Mike is the one who has to withstand all of the gamesmanship tactics here from John Boy as he tries to get into his head, but Cobb keeping these guys honest in 3rd place, not dropping off at all. Jay is not too far away, less than 3 seconds off of the lead, running in 4th place, but he's got Craig and Thomas in his rearview mirrors. As Aussie looking to the inside of Nick there, going into the final penultimate corner there. Somebody's taking the tyres out there going through the penultimate corner as well. Not sure who. No real indication because nobody's got damage, so it looked like it must have just been a bit of a tap as somebody took a bit too much on the inside going into the penultimate turn. Nick the defending from Aussie Albie going into turn 1 as those two holding position for the time being. And John Boy still all over the back of Mike here as they're going into turn 3. Mike defends the inside line. John Boy's going to try and go around the long way here Can he keep himself there for turn 4? Mike there just squeezing into the edge of the track. John Boy's just going to have to back out of that one. But he definitely gave it a go. Cobb's still on the back of the leaders at the moment. John Boy, you can see in the foreground there, throwing a very speculative feint to the inside. Not realistically going to make that one happen, but just trying to keep Mike on his toes. Oh, is Mike a bit of a slide there? Did really well to hold on to that, but John Boy smelling blood here, looking to the inside, trying to force the issue. Oh no, and there's a collision between the front of two, and John Boy and Mike coming together. Cobb's going to move through and take the lead of the race. John Boy there just went into the back of him. They got a little bit over aggressive there to John Boy. He's going to now wait for Mike to regain his place, but Mike there just absolutely tumbling down the order after that one. The two leaders, after having such a majestic battle for the first half of this race, have ended up coming together. Oh no, and John Boy goes into the side of Nick there. And Nick there's got big damage on the front bumper of the car as well. Nick the winner's going to have to come in and get that damage fixed. I think that's going to be too bad to continue on. But John Boy and Mike down to 7th and 8th places in this race. What a turn up in this race. Jay's also made a mistake with all that going on. He was obviously got distracted by those two having their crash, and he's dropped down behind Craig and Thomas. Obviously on the order he's in the same position, but he should have gained 2 places with that happening, but he's ended up making a mistake of his own here. So it's Cobb leading comfortably now. He's got this one in the bag unless he makes a mistake. Cobb's had an early Christmas present offered John Boy there, and he could thank him for that after the race. But Cobb here leads as they start lap 7. Craig there in second is trying to defend here from Thomas coming down towards turn 1. He's trying to break that toe, trying to avoid the slipstream effect there for Thomas. As John Boy now lets it inside of Mike into turn 1, throwing one down the inside, showing no remorse for his punt on Mike on the previous lap. He's making a move on him into turn 1. And up into a 7th place he goes, but Mike here's got the run here down towards turn 3 as they're side by side, and that BMW straight line speed advantage is going to be used to its full effect here. John Boy trying to hold it around the outside, but he's not going to keep it there, and Mike there up into 7th place as these two continue to trade places as they have done throughout the course of this race. But Mike is going to be seething with that collision that we saw in the previous lap. Both of them dropping down the order now in the mid pack here and battling over 7th and 8th places. But John Boy, to his credit, did do the sportsman-like thing, did wait for him, as John Boy making a move on Mike there in through that right-hander, gets himself back up into 7th place here. Mike though still on the back of him as they continue to battle it out. Cobb though absolutely riding off into the sunset here with this lead. There's Craig in second with Thomas and Jay on the back of him as well. Can Jay recover these 2 places which he lost at the same time actually that that John Boy and Mike had their collision? Thomas obviously the car running ahead of Jay at this point. Craig not too far ahead of him in second, so Jay only a 1.5 seconds off of a potential P2 if he can plumb the laps in here at the end of this race. John Boy and Mike now arriving on the back of Ozzy Albie, who's running in P6 here in this race. These guys are a long way behind Park Pooper, who's in 5th. Oh, as Thomas gets it a bit wrong there, and Jay's going to seize on that. Down the inside he goes to the final corner. Did not need a second invitation there, did Jay. Up into 3rd place he goes. But the BMW straight line speed is going to give Thomas a chance to come back at him here as he now looks to the inside. Thomas here into turn 1 is surely going to repay the favour there on Jay. Is Jay going to go for a cutback, or is he going to try and hang it around the outside? He goes to try and hang it, but it's not going to happen. But I'll tell you what, he's got good momentum here coming out of turn 1. This might keep him in good stead here when they get to 3. You can see here Jay just moving ahead here, but the BMW straight line speed will now come into effect as they come further down the straight. Jay with the inside though is going to surely keep himself on the inside, and he gets the move done surely there. Jay up into 3rd, yes he is, and that is now job done there. He makes that one stick there, does Jay. He's got a 2.5 seconds up the road to Craig. Can he reel Craig in the final 2.5 laps of this race? Park Pooper there in P5 just behind this battle for the final podium place. You've got Ozzy, who's now got John Boy and Mike right on the back of him here. This is now a 3-way battle for P6, and not the position that I think John Boy or Mike would have been expecting to be fighting for this time 2 laps ago. Aussie there goes a little bit deep, and John Boy there's going to get a cutback, and he's going to beautifully execute that move there as John Boy on the inside for this next left-hander. That's going to be job done there for him, and now Mike looking to try and knock Aussie while he's down here, keeps it around the outside. Aussie though defends the inside line, but Mike, it's inevitable here, he's going to get this done because he's going to get that cut back there, and the BMW straight line speed as well should be able to take him past Aussie here. Aussie trying to squeeze him, getting racy here is Aussie Albi. He's not giving this one up without a fight, as Mike there goes a little bit deep here, which could allow Aussie to get underneath him here. At the bottom of the circuit we are right now. Aussie just squeezing Mike there, but Mike will have the inside into the S's. Aussie's not giving this one up, he's still there, and Mike's going to have to try and go for a switchback here with their straight line speed. Now it's going to come into play here for the BMW. Here we come up the hill, but Aussie managing to keep on to P7 there. Unbelievable, as now John Boy's trying to disappear into the distance here and cement P6 in this race, but Mike still can't find a way through ahead of Aussie Albi for this P7 position here. So here we come over the line to start the penultimate lap of the race. In the meantime, Craig is not allowing Cobb to skate away into the distance here. Cobb was 2/10 quicker than Craig. Craig matching Jay at the moment as well, so Jay not showing any signs of closing the gap to Craig at this point. Part Pooper closing up onto the back of Thomas here. Part Pooper could be smelling a P4 here at the end of this race. As Mike here looking around the outside of Aussie Albi, but Aussie still covering that inside line off. Mike's going to go for a cutback here around the outside of turn 4, and he's going to get that one done. Surely no, because he goes wide. Oh, and John Boy in the foreground there gets it horribly wrong onto the grass. And John Boy there with an unusual mistake there. He's had a bit of a topsy-turvy second race here of the night, as Charlie gets to the inside of Mike, and Charlie Goff is going to make this move up the inside of Mike, I think. Mike though keeping himself around the outside here. He'll have the inside for this next left-hander, and Mike does keep on to 8th place for the time being ahead of Charlie Goff. Hartwood is still attacking on the back of Thomas at the moment. John Boy trying to pull away from this train of cars. Aussie though is trying to gap Mike and Charlie whilst they battle over 8th place. But Aussie's put up a stout defence of this P7 here. Mike has certainly not found the door open in any way, shape or form here. Oh, Charlie gets it wrong, coming through the final corner, gets onto the grass there. As Mike now surely is going to get this move done on Aussie Albi down the start finish straight. Look at that, the BMW, an absolute rocket ship in a straight line. Aussie's looking down the inside into turn 1, surely not from there. No, he's not going to make that happen. And Mike finally up into P7. After an exciting battle between those two, it has to be said. Cobb still got the lead. Craig was half a second quicker than Cobb on the previous lap, but I think it might be a little bit too little too late here for him. I think he's might have missed. I think the ship's already left the port there for that one, unfortunately there for Craig. Jay's still just ahead of Thomas and Part Pooper at the moment in this battle for 3rd place. John Wood there still P6, has got about a second or so back to Mike and Aussie. John Wood should be safe in that P6 here. Got Pot the Brown still going in P10, a little way behind Charlie. A few seconds back to Nick running in 11th place. It's not been the race for him at all with that big damage on the front of the car. Team MW's also had a bit of a nightmare here tonight in P12. Doris Steer still going in P13, but he has had a race to forget here. A night to forget so far for Doris Steer. Can he come good in the final race of the night? Obviously we'll have a strong grid position. It'll be Doris Steer who will start on pole with Team MW second. Nick will start in 3rd. We know what Nick's like when you give him a high starting position. And Charlie as well, P5. Mike, P7. Let's not forget. And John Boy, P8. So there's going to be lots of fast drivers throughout the pack. Mike and John Boy in the mid-pack could be a recipe for quick progress. But Cobb here coming into the final couple of corners here. Had this win gifted to him on a plate, but credit to him, had to be in the right place at the right time to capitalise, and he's seen this one out in very admirable fashion. Up towards the line, Cobb goes. No celebration, no flash to the lights. Probably feels like this one was a bit of a hollow one. Craig comes over in second place, with Jay completing the podium. Thomas over in fourth ahead of Park Pooper. John Boy with his bumper hanging off for dear life there. P6 for him. Mike there seventh ahead of Ozzy in eighth, followed by Charlie, who comes over in ninth. Pop the Brown out the final corner in P10. Nick de Villa is going to come over the line here to finish this one in 11th place with a bit of damage there on the front of the car. Team MW will be the next driver over the line there to finish this one in 12th place here in the end. And Doris Steer coming through the final corner to finish the second race of the night in P13. And that is that for the second race of the night. It's Cobb who takes the win ahead of Craig, with Jay completing the podium. The big story of the second race of the night though, John Boy and Mike crashing into each other on, I think it was lap 6 of the race it was. Those two having a collision, dropping down to the mid-pack. Blame, I'd say, watching it live, probably on John Boy, but the old boards could tell a different story, so we'll have to hold fire on that one and wait and see. But guys, join us for the final race. We'll be live for the new stream in a second. Don't go anywhere.